Hello, friends. Welcome to the SCM Next Gen YouTube channel, where we learn supply chain management in simple and easy language.
So without any further delay, let's get started. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, otherwise you might miss many important topics.
Hey there, and welcome. We're about to pull back the curtain on this incredible, invisible world that is, well, literally all around you. We're going to uncover the secret life of your stuff, that hidden epic story behind every single thing you own. Let's dive in. Okay, do me a favor. Just glance down at the shoes you're wearing. Ever really, truly stop and think about how they got on your feet? I can tell you, it wasn't magic. It was an epic, globe-spanning journey, all orchestrated by a system of mind-boggling complexity. And today, we're going to follow that journey step by step. All right, so before our sneaker can even think about starting its adventure, we first need to understand the map. You know, the language of its world. This is what you might call the code of commerce. So the whole system, the whole shebang, is run by something called supply chain management, or SCM for short. Now, try not to think of it as just, shipping boxes. It's way more than that. It's the grand blueprint for a product's entire life, from sourcing the rubber for the sole all the way to that awesome moment it lands on your doorstep. It's the master plan. Now, here's something you hear all the time. People using supply chain and logistics like they're the same thing. They're not. Let me break it down for you. If supply chain management is the entire strategy for building a house, the architect's plans, buying the land, everything, then logistics is the crew and the trucks. It's the physical act of getting the wood, the concrete, and the windows to the construction site exactly when they're needed. So logistics is a super critical piece of the puzzle, but it serves the much, much bigger SCM picture. So to make this all really concrete, here's the roadmap for our sneakers life. It's a simple 4-stage journey. We're going to follow it from just an idea on a piece of paper to a busy factory, then all the way across the ocean, and finally, to you. Let's start at the very beginning. You could call this the sneaker's origin story. This is that magical moment when a simple design sketch starts its transformation into a real, physical product you can actually buy. So once the sneaker is designed, you can't just call up a factory and say, hey, can you make me one pair? It just doesn't work like that. And that's because of something called the MOQ, or minimum order quantity. It's basically the factory's way of saying, look, we need an order that's big enough to make it worth our while to fire up all this massive, expensive machinery. Okay, so the factory is now cranking out thousands of sneakers. But how in the world do you keep track of them all? I mean, a blue sneaker in a size 10 is totally different from a red one in a size 9, right? Well, that's where the SKU comes in. It stands for stock keeping unit. Think of it like a unique social security number for every single product variation. It is absolutely essential for tracking millions of items with any kind of accuracy. And just like that, our sneakers exist. Thousands of them, all boxed up and ready to go. So now begins the most adventurous part of their story, the great global journey. You can't just send something internationally without the right paperwork. To travel, our sneakers need a passport. And in the world of shipping, that's called an HS code. It's this globally recognized number that tells every single customs officer in every country, hey, this box contains a men's athletic shoe with a rubber sole. This code is what determines the taxes and duties. And believe me, getting it wrong can stop a multi-million-dollar shipment dead in its tracks. Next up, you've got to be crystal clear about who is responsible for the sneakers and when. That's where Incoterms come in. These are standard agreements that answer one absolutely crucial question. At what exact moment does ownership and all the risk shift from the factory to the buyer? Is it when the truck leaves the factory, or is it once the container is loaded onto the ship? Incoterms make it perfectly clear, which prevents some really big, really costly arguments down the line. So how do they actually travel? Well, if you have enough sneakers to fill up an entire shipping container, you book what's called an FCL, or full container load. It's your own private space. But if you have a smaller shipment, you'll use LCL, or less than container load. It's kind of like carpooling, but in a giant metal box with a bunch of other people's products. And the sheer scale of all this, it's just staggering. The capacity of those enormous container ships is measured in something called TEUs, or 20-foot equivalent units. A single massive ship can carry over 20,000 TEUs. That's a floating city of stuff, and our sneakers are just one tiny, tiny part of it. Which it brings up a really interesting question, doesn't it? The captain of that ship is looking out at a sea of thousands of identical steel boxes. how does anyone really know which container holds our sneakers? And maybe more importantly, who officially owns them while they're floating in the middle of the ocean? The answer lies in one of the single most important documents in all of global trade, the Bill of Lading, or BOL for short. This one piece of paper, or, its digital version, acts as the master key for the entire shipment. The BOL is so powerful because it does three critical things all at once. First, it's a receipt, proving the carrier actually has the goods. Second, it's the legal contract for the journey. And third, and this is the big one, it's the document of title. Let me put it this way. Whoever physically holds the BOL legally owns the sneakers inside that container. It is literally the deed to the cargo. They made it. Our sneakers have survived the high seas, they've cleared customs, and now they're on solid ground. But hold on, the journey isn't over yet. This is the final, crucial leg of the race, the last mile. You see, most brands don't actually run their own giant warehouses and fleets of delivery trucks. It's just too complex. Instead, they hire specialists called 3PLs, or third-party logistics providers. These are the pros, the experts who take over and manage everything from storing the sneakers to picking, packing, and shipping that final order right to your house. And to get products to you even faster, these experts use some really clever strategies, like cross-docking. Instead of putting our sneakers away on a warehouse shelf for weeks, they're unloaded from the container, immediately sorted, and then loaded right back onto a local delivery truck. They barely even touch the ground, which slashes delivery times. Pretty smart, huh? So we've seen all the physical moving parts, the factories, the ships, the trucks. But what holds it all together? What's coordinating this unbelievably complex global dance? For that, we need to look at the system's brain. It is all managed by a powerful piece of software, usually an ERP, which stands for Enterprise Resource Planning System. The best way to think of this is as the company's digital nervous system. It connects the order you just placed online to the real-time inventory in the warehouse, to the money in the accounting department, and even to the reorder plan with the factory overseas. It's the single source of truth that prevents absolute, total chaos. So, the journey of our sneaker is pretty much complete, but the world that carries it is always changing, always evolving. So what's next? What does the future look like for the secret life of our stuff? Well, the supply chains of the future are being built to be way smarter and a whole lot stronger. They're becoming more resilient to disruptions, more focused on sustainability, and way, way more digital. We're talking about AI that can predict demand spikes, and real-time tracking that lets you see exactly where your package is at any given second. The big goal here is a system that's not just efficient, but also transparent and responsible. So there you have it. From a design sketch to a factory on the other side of the world, across a vast ocean, through this complex web of technology and logistics, all the way to your front door. The journey is complete, but the real question is, the next time you unbox an order, will you see more than just a product? Will you see that incredible, invisible world that worked so hard to bring it to you?